magical friends. Welcome to your weekly horoscope and taroscope with me, Natalie, spelled N-A-T-A-L-E-E, as we open up the energies of your week ahead using Western astrological interpretation as well as remote viewing into the tarot. Tuning into your energies for this week ahead, I'm picking up the World. So I'm seeing the World card, and it feels like some form of, I don't know if this is a relocation or if there's some changes happening with your home base, or if you are like physically moving things, like if you have storage in another country or in another state or something. But it feels sort of like Catch Me If You Can, where he's like the movement is just like I'm just getting at like this movement. So things are moving, plans are moving. I don't know, you're organizing something. So if you're interested in just a tarot reading, go ahead and jump ahead at the timestamp. I will see you there. For everyone else, let's go ahead and dig into your week ahead. Monday, the 6th of June, I'm calling it balancing both. So we have the moon. It's a waning, losing in light moon this week, leading up to a new moon, a brand new impulse, a new beginning at the end of the week. Monday, the moon is in Aries, and it will be trining Mars in Leo to start. But as the day progresses later on in the day, that moon will meet up with Chiron. So that's why I'm calling this day balancing both. On one hand, earlier in the day, you will probably feel, or circumstances will be showing you lots of confirmation that you have a clear, strong sense of purpose, desires, motivation, ambition. You know where and how you need more attention, or something in your life that needs more attention. But the day ends where it will be very important for you to analyze any feelings of low self-esteem. If you're feeling discouraged all of a sudden, or if something is touching on a wound or a sore spot, or if you act a little bit prematurely or overconfidently earlier in the day, there might be a little bit of a pullback from that. But it doesn't have to be negative. It doesn't have to be anything like that. It could just be a time when you're feeling very, vulnerable and emotional, and you see an opportunity to heal a previous insecurity in others because you've already been through something. Or if you are, a widow and you're living your best life, but you come across someone, a widower or something, and you recognize that same familiar pain, and you are now in a position to offer some wise words of wisdom or share your perspective or even just your story. And it could go a long way to help this other person, but it will also heal you. You know how they say hurt people hurt people? It's the same in the reverse. Healed people heal people. So if there's any soft spot, or if you're the one needing some kind of, guidance or reassurance or something, try to give that to yourself at the end of the day on Monday. So you will be needing to balance where you want to move ahead and any feelings of vulnerability or like a low self-confidence in taking action or like actually doing the thing that you want to do. Tuesday, the 13th of June, I'm calling it looking at the compass. Okay, so we have the moon in Aries going to now square Pluto, now in Capricorn. How was this weekend for you guys? We have the moon in Aries now going into a square with Pluto retrograding in Capricorn. Then the moon will go void, ingress into Taurus, conjunct the North Node in Taurus, conjunct Jupiter in Taurus, and square Venus in Leo. So we have a sign changeover. So the moon being in Aries, no longer in Aries, going to now be in Taurus's sign. Venus and Mars are together in Leo, so it'll be a changeover, but it'll be more so that the moon in Taurus is going to be meeting the North Node, Jupiter, squaring Venus, and then going into Wednesday, going to go ahead and square Mars in Leo. So what I mean by looking at the compass, early morning, you may have to face some kind of challenge to your will, challenge to your authority. There could be some ugliness that's shown in people around you, or the circumstances are bringing up some ugly feelings in yourself or other people. where it really comes out where people are feeling disenfranchised, disrespected, just unhappy, unsettled. So you may have to face a personal challenge when it comes to, something that you want, or even just like a feeling inside. There could just be some internal tension that you're just feeling some hard feelings about either of these areas of life. Then the moon will go into Taurus. I almost thought I said Jupiter, but I said it right. The moon will go into Taurus and conjunct the north node in Taurus. This this is the compass. This is the compass pointing like where you want to go, where to put your energy and efforts. The future wins out. Your growth wins out. And you will see it Tuesday. Okay? That north node is just this like insatiable hunger. Eclipse babies, they're extreme. They have these urges. They have maybe some compulsive behavior as well, but whatever it is, it's like it's big, it's a lot, and that's the point. So whatever, like, it's just not the moment to resist the new. It's not the moment to resist or try to hold yourself back. The moon crossing the north node in Taurus, circumstances are just like pushing it in your face, showing you the future, showing you what should be winning and what you should be putting more energy and effort into, especially because we're going to do Jupiter next, because Jupiter just wants that for you. Jupiter just wants you to have the experiences, wants you to learn from the experiences, wants you to internalize the experiences and alchemize them into wisdom so that you can make, you know what I'm saying? So it's just, you're going to get a lot of it on Tuesday. And the compass should be read pretty clear because you're feeling quite strongly. The square to Venus in Leo says that the appetite returns full force. Think back over the weekend. What was that? Like the 9th, the 10th, the 11th of June. That Venus Jupiter square could have been very powerful in the sense of extreme emotions and desires and wants. So on one hand, you can have, of course, the simplistic explanation of overdoing it, eating the whole row, yeah, the whole row of cookies or Oreos instead of just portioning yourself out. Of course, it can be overindulgence, overspending, to be overcompensation for feelings of guilt or whatever. But what I saw personally, what I saw over the weekend, I saw a lot of neediness, clinginess, codependency, desperation, and just like the glomming on of people. And if you saw that over the weekend or any of these things that I've described, it's because people were feeling the lack, they were feeling the intense desires that are more than normal, more than an average want. So if you had like some kind of frustrated desire over the weekend, really pay attention to what that was. Were you being, it's like in 𝚃𝚑𝚎 where, oh, I forgot this actor's name, but he goes, I think it's Lent, where he just doesn't eat anything and he just drinks like boiled water with a slice of lemon. Like he, like when you really deny yourself. So, the weekend could have even been some form of like painful denial of what you really, really want, like some kind of deep frustration. And I'm saying all this because looking at the compass, Tuesday, the 13th, that appetite, it comes back up again. And it has something to do with where you're trying to go. It has something to do with your destiny. So, depending on how it went for you over the weekend, that weekend could have seen people caving, for instance. You're so desperate for love that you're indiscriminate and you settle for whatever comes, whatever wants to give you attention instead of holding true to your integrity and your values and your standards. It could have been something like that. It could have also been an overcompensation, someone that feels, I don't know, guilty that they're working too much and then it's just so much to a partner or to their family that they overspend their budget, they overspend their limit, or, something like that. Or you plan a birthday party for someone and you just go all out. I'm just let's just make it the best ever. So you go blow your budget, so be very attentive to your wants and your needs and where your creativity is pulling you. Like this is like Moon, Venus, Taurus, Jupiter, Leo. That's a day of either great sex, great creativity, wonderful ideas, having so much fun with the children, teaching the children how to, if they want to draw and you know how to draw, teaching them the things, or, whatever it is, supporting their development, supporting their creativity, supporting your own creativity, and, maybe even physical tastes, like you actually want to cook your favorite meal or, hmm, so, whatever it happens to be, it comes back on Tuesday. Let's move on. Wednesday, the 14th of June. I am calling it plain tension. I wrote it backwards. Plain old tension. Really, all we have going on Wednesday is that Moon in Taurus making a square to Mars in Leo. So it sort of might just continue. If you looked at the compass on Tuesday and you're looking for your black pearl or something, and you're just like, aye, matey, it's going to take you in this other direction. There could still be some tense feelings to deal with as like maybe the fallout of that on Wednesday. You're just going to feel this impulse, like this urge to act, spend, speak, or otherwise change a situation or relationship. And here's what I'm going to say. Feel the feeling coming up, observe the feeling, do not identify with that feeling. Listen to what it's telling you, listen to your needs, logic it out, really, really look at it, and then go from there. You can internalize that tension into motivation, or you can internalize that tension and just like eat it, where you feel the tension and the frustration, but you don't do anything. You don't act. You don't spend the money you need to spend. You don't speak what you need to say. You don't change it. You just feel horrible. That's how you know you're internalizing it for the negative. You're feeling the tension, but you're not doing anything. And how is that going to come out? You're going to stub your toe. You're going to get hurt. You're going to have an accident. You're going to attract an aggressive experience out in public. Someone's going to pick a fight with you. You're going to overeat. You're going to overwork. You're going to overextend yourself working out and have an injury at the gym. It's going to, or you're just going to be really grouchy. You're going to be a grouch ass. You're going to be unpleasant to be around, so just don't internalize it and don't eat it. Just internalize it and, make it motivation, motivating. Okay. Use it to motivate yourself to make the changes that you need to make. Wednesday. Thursday, the 15th of June. I'm calling it proving it, proving it, proving it, prove it. It's so important to have proof and to have evidence, and especially in the work that I do in the spiritual realm as a spiritual advisor, consigliere, instructor. I will always tell you, prove it. Prove it to yourself. Try these energetic exercises and look at the results. That's always what you should go by. Try it out, have an experimental open mind for things in life, not just this. In life, test it out, see the results, and then go from there. So Thursday the 15th, proving it, we have the moon now crossing Uranus in Taurus. And then this is the day that we have Mercury in Gemini squaring off to Saturn in Pisces. That'll come later. Mercury, Saturn square. Let me start with the moon though. So the general vibe, the circumstances of the day, swift relief. Okay, a problem or a weird feeling, whatever, can just disappear. You can immediately just feel better about something. Or circumstances may produce another surprise. So leave room for the unexpected on Thursday. That can go either way. With Uranus, it can go either way. It can go this way, it can go that way. So the Mercury square to Saturn, Mercury is going to move very, very quickly through the sign of Gemini. I mean, it's like lickety split. before we actually will end the month, not only with Mercury in a different sign, in the sign of Cancer, but also with a Mercury Sun cazimi. Lights on. So at this point that Mercury is making a square over to Saturn, this is proving it. You just have to, we must address and correct something, something that comes up, a challenge, an obstacle, red tape, a change in perspective, something physical, forms to fill out, a fine or fee to pay, whatever, before proceeding with your plans. That's all. Maybe it's a conversation you have to have, a hard, serious, sobering conversation. Maybe it is a financial commitment that you have to make. Maybe it is a form you have to file and fill out and submit. Maybe it is working on the car, something that you've got to kind of clean up, be mature and responsible for, and then you can really move forward. That's really like the last thing before the new moon, and the last bigger thing. So it's kind of like you just have to prove it with your words, with your transactions, with your writing, your communication, all of the Mercury related things, all of the Gemini related things. And what's weird to me is that there's a lot of dual stuff this week with the Gemini energy interacting with the Pisces energy. We have the twins and we have the fish. So it's just, that's a lot. Like that's a lot going. That's a lot going around. I mean, like, you know what I'm saying? Like that's just, so if there are a lot of like ideas and gossip and maybes and almosts and what ifs, like this Gemini energy could really bring up and stir up a lot of maybe potentially. I have Saturn going through my third house. Hopefully when Saturn stations retrograde, it'll get better. We'll see. But it could bring up some things that may have been an issue for us over the Mars retrograde in Gemini from Halloween of 2022 until like mid-January 2023. What were you going back on? What were you reconsidering? What was frustrating? What did you feel like you had to really push yourself through that you did not want to do? This, the end of this week could help you fix some of that. It could help you, it could help pick up where you left off in that line of thinking in a big way, a fresh start kind of a way. Okay, but the conversations, maybe the discussions or the contracts or the agreements or the disagreements or the saying I'm going to take this option off the table so I can pursue this option. All of that stuff could be happening as early as Thursday, Friday, the 16th of June, where there's more to say, and that's what I'm calling this day. I don't try to rhyme, it just happens sometimes. The moon in Gemini will, now we're in the new moon energy. Don't freak out about your life on a dark moon. Just don't do it. It'll be waited out. Some transits, you just lock yourself in your bedroom, listen to your favorite music, have your favorite snacks around you, and you just don't answer messages or look at your phone or any technology, but you just wait the transit out. So if you're feeling like really shaky or insecure, or you're like losing your nerve at the last second, or you're getting cold feet, wait it out. Don't worry about it. That's always on every dark moon. Every month we have a dark moon. So it's like right before the new moon. Don't worry about anything. Okay. Friday, there's more to say. Moon in Gemini, squaring Saturn in Pisces, conjuncting Mercury in Gemini, gonna sextile over though to both Mars and Venus in Leo. So on Friday, I feel like it'll continue. There's more to say, whatever you're talking about, whatever the hard, crunchy conversations were on Thursday, Friday, there might be fallout from that. There might be follow-ups to that. There might just be more. So the moon squaring Saturn, you could have a little bit of like a responsibility hangover, or some kind of where you're like, yeah, I had to do that. Yeah, we had to talk about it. Yeah, we had to address it. Yep. We had to, like having an awkward conversation with your child or something, you're like, oh, then the next day, the morning after, it's a little bit like still in the air, at breakfast time, maybe. But then the moon will conjunct Mercury in Gemini. That's really a lot more to say. So if it's like in the morning, maybe everyone's still processing the thing, everyone's still processing what happened, and then you're ready to talk about it. You're ready to continue on the conversation. New thoughts, new perspectives, more realizations are coming in, and there might just be more to talk about. Or if this is more positive, like maybe for some of you, Thursday proving it is more about putting your commitment or your money where your mind is, where your mouth is, where your focus really is. Then it's overcoming some kind of like maturity, responsibility, commitment thing where you have to take some kind of meaningful step to like reserve that for you, to reserve that outcome that you want, or to reserve that thing to make sure that, nothing's going to happen with it or go wrong with it. And you might feel a little bit like you would have liked a little bit more time before you had to commit to it, or you would have liked a little bit more breathing room. Mercury in Gemini, who wants all the options to exist all the time without making any firm commit. That's all the mutable signs. I'm not just picking on Gemini. Before, if you let them go, they just would rather never have to really settle on one thing. So, this on that Thursday could have been like, I would have liked to have had a little bit more time, but I know I really want this thing. So I'm going to go ahead and just take one off the table so I can get what I know I really want. And Friday, with that conjunction to Mercury, there may be more, I don't know, more signatures or more details. So it could be like you already made the commitment Thursday, and then Friday, instead of more to say, it's just more, I don't know, more paperwork, more details, more little things to take care of, but you'll take care of it. And if it has you really happy, because Friday, you also have that moon in Gemini sextiling over to Venus and Mars. There's perks and benefits that are already showing themselves to you. And it's going a long way to support something that is going to be a really big deal for you this summer. You're laying the groundwork. Saturday, the 17th of June, I'm calling it, it's not what you think, because we have a new moon in Gemini. The big thing about the new moon in Gemini is that it is squaring to Neptune in Pisces. Again, we have like the duality, like multiples. Multiple. This is a lot here. There's a lot going on, a lot happening in both these areas of your life. And okay, so we have the new moon in Gemini, which is ruled by Mercury. And so we look at what Mercury is doing. Mercury's doing what Mercury's doing. Mercury is sextiling Venus in Leo, which is nice, extremely nice. Also on Saturday, Saturn is stationing retrograde. I hope I can speak better after that. So I have a lot to say about all these things. So let me start with I guess we'll start with the new moon. The new moon in Gemini, it's a new impulse. We have a new moon every single month. New moon in Gemini. There's again, the duality, the sign of the twins. So think back to what you were considering and reconsidering, going back and forth on, what options were coming on the table, what were coming off the table, like late last year. Let's just pick Halloween, like October, mid-October to mid-January, mid-October 2022 to mid-January 2023. This could give you a new, it's all about the new, and it's all about the new idea. You're starting with a wonderful idea, a wonderful impulse. You could be extremely inspired. You could be very motivated. You could be really excited. And that's really what you want to feel. If something has you feeling like a kid all over again, that's the thing. That's the right thing. It's like giddy. Gemini energy is so giddy and giggly. I always pick out the Geminis. So easy because they're the giggly ones. They're the and it's the sweetest thing. Like I actually love working with Geminis. Geminis at work are just exactly what I need. Like I'm such a, curmudgeonly Capricorn that the Geminis they're just like dancing around me, like dancing circles around me. And I love it. And it's just such a breath of fresh air that I think I think I personally, I like to have that, like just working, like to be around that sprightly, youthful energy. It's very infectious and very contagious. And a person, I have Gemini on my 12th house of secret sorrow, self undoing. And so I will just wake up giggling in the middle of the night, laughing my ass off because I'm thinking funny thoughts and I'm just cracking jokes to myself. And it's just a riot, but it's like very hidden. It's very behind the scenes for me personally. So loving the new moon in Gemini, you have this beautiful impulse of sweetness and sprightliness and youthfulness and wherever this is in your chart, and it's lovely. The ruler is sextiling Venus and Mars in Leo, so something about this new impulse is helping to support a neglected value, a neglected or underestimated, undervalued thing that you're going to be opening. It's going to be the focus of your summer. It's going to be hot boy summer. And this new moon is helpful and supportive of that. In what capacity, I don't know in your personal life, but it is. It's going to be very helpful to bring more of the, maybe the love, but it's like bringing in more of the childlike whimsy and wonder and lightness and brightness of youth and happiness and excitedness and creativity. Like, you really do need to be a fresh, clean slate for this new moon to work well for you. Okay, you don't want to be, I don't know, heavy or bitter um or like naive, it's not that energy. This is about like the purity and the magic of a child's belief. When a child believes something, that magic and that purity that's like just protected, it's very, it could be really, really great. So there's your new moon. The thing about the new moon is that it does square over to Neptune in Pisces. So some people will, how do I put this? If you're channeling this energy consciously, you will be able to surpass your own best ideas because it's going to be either much better than you thought or it's going to be worse than you thought. There's going to be like a cognitive dissonance breaking for some people where it's like, I never thought this could happen, but it's happening and it's bad and I'm unhappy and I don't like this. Or for some people, you're going to follow this new impulse and it's going to be so much better than you thought. And you're going to realize that all of your worries and fears were just, um, they're not, like, really not real. They never happened. They're not going to happen. That's that square to Neptune. So I've noticed this on Neptune transits that it's usually, and this is why I can say this now, is that I've been watching it in my own chart. It's never as bad as you think it's going to be. It's never whatever you're worried about. It's just not, that's not it. It's just the Neptune fear and the projection, and it's like being afraid of your own shadow or something. It can be really spooky, but it's like such a subjective thing that it's probably not as bad as you think, or it's probably not as um it's just not as, it's not a big deal. Now for other people, it can be a little bit of cognitive dissonance breaking down where, because of, I don't know, something going on with them or what they thought about you or the situation or whatever, it's going to be some kind of like disappointment. Now, if that's an unhealthy thing, maybe you had like an unhealthy, I don't know, codependent relationship with someone where they just always expected you to show up in a certain way for them. And maybe you want to go off and hike Mount Everest. You want to climb Mount Everest, and that's like your new dream in life. And you like tell them, and they're like, "What are you talking about? Like, what do you, what?" And maybe you're like, "Well, I was thinking about it over Christmas, how I just wanted to be on top of a mountain instead of, here." It could be kind of like that, where some people's visions and cognitive dissonances are kind of just breaking up. But for other people, it's going to be that it's breaking open. it's breaking open, and you're taking in so much more psychic information, astral matter, content, information, or ideas, visions, creativity, and it's like a breakthrough. So I really feel like this particular new moon has a lot to do with the purity of your focus, the purity of your heart, and your values. Because these are energies that will just blow whatever way the wind blows. Like, is it Sergeant or Lieutenant Rain in Casablanca, where he's going through, I think he's showing Ilsa through to where Rick is sitting or something, or he's talking to someone and he's like, my loyalty, my allegiance just blows with the prevailing wind. That's mutable sign energy. So if you don't stand for something strongly, you will fall for anything. So that's going to be some people at this new moon, they're just going to be like going with whatever, whatever the prevailing wind happens to be, and it'll be confusing for them. And they may not be able to sort it out until like December at the end of the year. So, if this is like Sagittarius, sun, moon, risings, it could have to do with your living situation where you're just like confused and you're not, maybe you hadn't done the groundwork, or you hadn't put in the effort, or you hadn't done the right work over the winter, October to January, to, I don't know, figure out some family situation or roommate situation, or property selling and buying situation. And so now it's going to be a big knot that you've got to untangle from now until December. Something like that. That's just one person's example, one sign's example. I had taken everyone through this for all 12 zodiac signs for our monthlies. You have your PDF download, you have your Venus retrograde guide. Yeah. So, if you're interested in what this new moon will have to do with for you, for your sun sign, moon sign, and rising signs, as well as if you're cross watching for all of the important people in your life, you're going to get all 12 monthlies over on the Patreon. That's the Knights tier and above, and you also get the guides as well. So that's your new moon kind of in a nutshell. Now let's talk about Saturn stationing retrograde. This is a big deal because Saturn's always a big deal. Okay. No, Saturn really is always a big deal. Not just for us people because Saturn rules us, but for everybody. Now, Saturn stationing retrograde. Remember, just a couple days ago, you had Mercury squaring Saturn. That was like the last like commitment thing, or that was like the last big realization or conversation before the station and before this new moon. So things are going to get easier for some people after this weekend. And for other people, it'll probably be, if things don't get a lot easier, it'll be more of the same that you've got to slog through and work your way through. But that's only because you didn't do the work before. Let's talk about it. Saturn stations retrograde at 7 degrees of Pisces. Stations are very important. Now remember that the planets are not actually going retrograde. They are not actually like stopping and then like backing up again. It's only because of our perspective here on planet Earth. If we were on a different planet looking at the solar system, everything would be different. For instance, there's like the heliocentric chart. If you're looking at the universe from the position of the sun, if that doesn't make any sense, don't worry about it. Just throw it out, disregard it. I'm just explaining that perception is really, really important, really important, really important, especially because of all this duality, and that's just a big deal. So Saturn in Pisces has a lot to do with perception. It has a lot to do with religious movements, spiritual movements. Saturn stationing retrograde can have, just beliefs and any kind of difficulties in these areas. If it's been difficult to have faith in something, if it's been difficult to take something seriously, if it's been difficult to reconcile cognitive dissonance, if it's been difficult to get realistic about certain things, the pressure's about to come off. So this is really where the test is, because let's see, Saturn entered Pisces on March the 7th of this year. From March the 7th until, what day is this? June the 17th. Those lessons in the Pisces area of your life are what you want to internalize over the next few months while Saturn is retrograde. Don't slack off, okay? You have something all month happening with Jupiter sextiling Saturn in Pisces from Taurus. This is your future. So this is the time that you can make meaningful progress and really solidify what you were trying to learn, you know, growing up, growing more mature, growing into, you know, a more respectable citizen. I'm kidding. But that's really what you want to do. This is like you leave your car in the tow zone, but the meter maid walks away because it's retrograde. You're not going to get really the ticket yet, but you're challenged to move your goddamn car. Okay, move your dang car. Throw on your slippers or throw over your overcoat, whatever. Go out and move your car. Because when Saturn stations direct in a few months, then it's like you get the compounded karma that you thought you were getting away with. And then that's like coming out to a boot on your car and like, you know, or your ex parked your car at the airport when you were gone and you got all these damn tickets and they took the car away and it's all this compounding issue. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, can internalize your lessons and apply the lessons throughout the retrograde, because it will be easier to do it, by the way, too. It's like you've loaded up your plate from March 7th until June 17th, and now you're just going to eat off of them the next few months. That's what I would recommend. I would recommend a good long meditation from March the 7th until June the 17th of everything you've been learning in the Pisces areas of life, so that you can hold on to those lessons and continue to apply the learning, continuing to apply the sober realization. If you willingly forget, if you willingly, you know, erase all of those lessons, it is going to be so painful for you. That's what Saturn does. And it'll be painful through like concrete things that it'll be bad. The karma season, it's going to be bad. So this is the first one. Like Saturn just entered Pisces. You got the cleanest slate ever right now. Like you can just not fuck it up if you just, you know what I'm saying? So like the next time it's going to be a thing. So just like take care of like what's right in front of you. Whatever these lessons are, really internalize them, continue to apply them, and go about the cabin. Okay. That's also going to make this new moon easier for you. It's going to make, you know, the next few months easier for you. But just don't take that to mean that you can go and try and get away with something, especially if it's something you already got checked for, that you tried to, you know, you tried to push yourself beyond your physical capability to work and you had health problems. March 7th to June 17th. But with Saturn retrograde, maybe you find that you can push yourself. You can keep pushing yourself, push, 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 push. But when Saturn stations direct in a few months, now all of the compounded health problems that were not showing themselves to you when you were pushing yourself during the retrograde, now they do show up. And you're going to wish that you had just done the right thing the first time, or that you just continued doing the exercises your doctor gave you, whatever. It's going to be different for everyone. So that is your new moon. But so use everything that you've got to make this the absolute best for yourself. That's a long Saturday. Sunday, the 18th of June. I'm calling it humility. We've got the moon ingressing into Cancer and then trining over to Saturn retrograding in Pisces, also sextiling over to interesting. Okay. So the moon, I love a moon Saturn, even the hard aspects. I really do. So the trine to Saturn, a feeling brought about by circumstances, tells you what to return to. That's what I have written down on my little paper here. So it's very intuitive and it's very guiding because Cancer is a sign that needs projects, needs to start new things, needs to have ambitions, just like all the other cardinal signs. But it's about an emotional connection to it, to it's like emotional innovation in a sense. So connecting to Saturn now retrograde, let your intuition guide you to certain feelings that you want to explore again, or maybe anything from March 7th to the 17th, because this is an important time for Saturn. The moon's connecting to that. So it could be very intuitive. Now, it's called humility because that is the day that the sun in Gemini will perfect in their square to Neptune in Pisces. Something about this fresh impulse, this new moon, this new start for yourself has to do with changing your masculine energy. The masculine energy needs an adjustment. So it can be very Christ-like, it can be very spiritual and very holy, but looking around at modern life and modern people, that's not really the lowest common denominator. This is, for many people, going to be some form of deception by men. For some people, it's going to be looking at men or a man in your life in a different light, where they are humbled in some way, shape, or form. Maybe they do something shameful. Maybe they are just injured. Maybe they suffer some kind of illness in front of you, or maybe they have a difficult time coping with an addiction. It can be anything that causes you to see this man or this masculine person in a different show of strength. So the show of strength will not be the Leo 9 Arnold Schwarzenegger show of strength. This is more about a masculine identity that is either extremely spiritual in nature, very very spiritual, but not martyrdom. Don't do that. That's like one of the bad ways that that can manifest, is that some man or masculine energy is inappropriately using their masculine energy as a martyr, or trying to portray themselves as a martyr, or trying to portray themselves as a victim. So this could even be a weird power play where someone presents themselves as being a very sacrificing person, and like that's their identity and they're the victim, and that's not going to play well. It's really not. So it could be something like that. It could be emotional, spiritual. It could be drug and alcohol related, or codependent, emotional, like incestuous emotions between people, whether it's like in the family systems or in the workspace, or something like that could be a little bit like inappropriate. But this can also be creative. It can be that someone or some people or these areas of your life are rechanneling your masculine energy to be even more creative than previously. And it could be through the introduction of new ideas. These new impulsive, Gemini is like the child, one of the children of the zodiac. So it could be through something fresh, something new, something different, something else that's going to stimulate that. That's going to get the juices flowing. So I would say, to move forward on that kind of energy, you will have to be humble. You will have to be empathetic to yourself and other people. You will have to remember to protect your own boundaries, so that if someone comes to you all of a sudden as some kind of victim, or you're feeling awkward feelings, or something's gotten a little strange, that you can right the ship in a way that is very delicate and compassionate. Because that was another Jesus thing. He's like, um, Forgive them, Father, for they know not what they do. You know, so it's almost like you don't need someone to understand you. You just need them to accept what you're saying. It's not my responsibility for you to really understand every freaking thing that I say if you're having this your willful misunderstanding, or if you really just have limited capabilities of understanding what I'm saying. How is that my responsibility? We're talking like personal like relationships, right? So there can also be on the world stage some kind of spiritualization of a solar figure, or there could even be just like an image shift. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see people actually changing their image. Neptune and Saturn being in Pisces can have to do with the perception of the image. So Sun Neptune is somehow, and this is part of your new moon as well, changing the image, changing your vision. You always want to have some kind of vision for your life, and you have to see it clearer than you see your hand in front of you. And this can be a new moon that some of you are changing your vision in either or both of these areas of life. And it could be to make it more spiritual, to incorporate more spirituality, to incorporate more creativity, to incorporate more what else do I like to say? For creativity, spirituality, I feel like there's something else that I like to say. But in any case, that's what we've got. And Sunday perfects that Sun Neptune square where, you know, you focus on what you have in your capability to control and how you're going to apply and use your masculine energies a little bit differently. It's going to be somehow, this could even be some kind of like mentor or guide, or you know, sharing information, and also, you know, maybe being let in on some information where it's just not what you thought, and you're you're just getting used to it. So that whole weekend has this like corrective energy about it where it's like, well, that wasn't what I thought. And that doesn't have to be negative, doesn't have to go negative. It can go like, oh my God, it's so much better than I thought. It's so much cooler than I thought. So, you know, so that is Sunday. That is humility. And for this weekly, I do want to talk about next Monday. That is going to be the 19th of June because it starts. I'm calling it starts now. Venus enters shadow, and that is the exact day that Jupiter sextiles Saturn. And this is something like this is all of June, but it goes exact on June the 19th. Lock it in. That's when you want to, if you haven't already, lock it in on Monday, even with Venus entering shadow, okay? Because that Jupiter Saturn sextile this entire month, and then it goes exact on June 19th, you will be able to really build and just like bake in and lock in something so beneficial for you, like for your entire life. Like this is a big structural support that you have, and it has the protection baked into it that you're not going to get beyond what you're ready for. You're not going to like overextend to reel yourself back in and then go forward, and then overextend and then reel yourself in and then go forward. You're going to be going like you're exactly ready for the next thing step by step. So just trust yourself that everything's great. Now, Venus enters shadow that day. Now they're going to be at this point in time, that day, June the 19th. Pay attention to that day, because what you're going to return to this theme August the 29th. It goes exact on the 3rd of September, but to September 10th. So what you return to August 29th until September the 10th could become most clear if what you're doing now, you're going to come back to it then. And at that time, it'll be clear to you that this was such the right thing for you, what you're doing now, around the 19th of June. you don't have to wait for the 19th of June if you already know you're going to do it or whatever, or you're already doing your thing, or what have you. I'm just telling you what the astrology is telling me. So it'll just be interesting. I'll be very, very excited and interested because so much will happen between now and August 29th to September 10th. And it's just like such a seed day, a seed moment on June the 19th. So it's interesting. And that's why I'm calling this entire week preparing your debut. I should have said that at the beginning. Because you're just laying the groundwork for it. And then you've got this new image, this new impulse, this new vision for yourself. I need to think if there's anything else. That is all I want to say. Let's take a look at your tarot. Okay, so tuning into your energies, I saw the World card and I saw this like relocation or travel or something organizational. What is the message? I am here to deliver about this, please. Thank you. First card is the King of Swords. I love it. I love a nice strapping King of Swords. So trust your mind, trust your thought processes, trust what you're thinking about, how you're thinking about it, who you're talking to, the conversations you're having. Nothing is getting through that is beyond you. Nothing, you're not susceptible or vulnerable to any kind of like mental manipulation. No one's getting in your mind. No one's like you're very, very strong. Mentally, you're very secure. You communicate well, you communicate extremely effectively, your strategy is on point. Just taking the top card because it's a lot under, actually, no, I will take all of it because we have the Queen here. I love the Queen of Swords. We also have Strength, the Five of Wands, oopsie, Five of Wands, Queen of Swords, the Empress, and the Knight of Wands. Over here, there's somebody else equal to that energy. So this is the counterpart to the King of Swords. So the Queen of Swords, nothing gets there. See how she's got the sword pointed up? It's like you go up to the Queen of Swords and you say what you got to say, and she'll know if you're bullshitting her or not. She knows already. She already knows. She already has the answers. She already has all the information. You only go up to her so that she can see if you're going to be honest or not. So sharp as attack. Sharp as attack. You've got somebody else here where the conflict is all of this right here. All of this. There's somebody else over here that they're entitled. They have expectations. They are expensive. Whatever it is. Maybe they have a big ego. They're sort of not seeing the situation clearly. And they have demands. They have wants. This is like, you know what this is like? I'll tell you what this is like. This is like someone that would do anything to sell a screenplay. But once someone expresses interest, now all of a sudden they want $1 million. When just a minute ago, they would have given their right arm to write a screenplay. You know what I'm saying? That's what this person feels like. They feel like now there's dollar signs. Now there's like, they just, what they want, what they're asking for, it's just too much. It's just a lot. And it does look like it's ego-based. It has something to do with this person's, I don't know, maybe they're over concerned with their image. Maybe they're very materialistic. Maybe they are used to getting their way with everything. So there's one person over here, and then there's like two people going at it over here. What other messages am I here to say? Ooh. I love the Magician. Love the Magician, even with the Hanged Man. I don't care. So Magician and the Hanged Man, the light bulb moment happens for you this week, or if you have been held back by something out of your control, you will realize why something took so long, because you needed to change your mind about something before you can move forward on what you wanted to move forward on. And it may be a little bit different now. Maybe you wouldn't have done it the same way had you not waited and saw all of these other realizations coming up for you. But now you have all the information you need, and you have the power now too to do something, or someone here does, has the ability to do something that they've been wanting to do, or that they were trying to do, or that they were held back from doing. That looks like it feels amazing. Thank you. And we have the King of Wands, another king. So this is very people oriented. We'll do one more position. Okay, so we have these three, and there's a popper on the floor, which I have like my legs crossed. So I'm gonna unfold myself. I'll be right back. It's the Fool though. Okay. The Fool, the Two of Wands, the Nine of Swords, oh, the Four of Cups, and the Fool. This might be like a personnel thing for you this week, because this is a lot of tweaking out about travel, about relocation, about starting something new, about this might even be like losing someone as an option for someone. Let's see, bottom of the deck, the Hermit, the Queen of Wands, another couple here, and the Page of Pentacles. Okay, so overall, this is interesting, because the Queen of Wands and the Hermit are just very opposite energies. But it does seem, and then you have the Queen of Wands down here. But it does seem to be that you're trying to figure out a project, something new, whether this is a house renovation or relocation project, or an investment thing, or some kind of course, financial goal for yourself, or entrepreneurial project. Maybe it's a new relationship, maybe you're meeting someone new and you're getting to know them. But it's just very different. Like the vibe is very different. You're very, I have to show you. The vibe is very different. I was gonna pick it up to show you like this, and then we see the world here. And that's what I saw for you. So you do have, I'm gonna take it. I'm gonna take it like this. Psychic slip. So you do have this energy that you're just not starting something new. It's like it's new, but it's something is like karmic about it. It's new in this lifetime, but it may be some kind of continuation of a karmic situation or a karmic relationship. And it's almost like something that couldn't be fulfilled in a previous lifetime for whatever reason, that now, if you have, this is like if you have very strong feelings about someone that you just met them, platonic, romantic, or otherwise, they're just very strong feelings. More than likely, like 100% likely, you knew them in a past lifetime. That energy, it's like the road that has grooves in it already. You meet them and it's something just feels familiar, or there's something more there. Is it always meant to be kumbaya and live happily ever after? No, because we reincarnate and to work out issues. So, if you meet someone and it's really intense, but then it's like a love thing and then it fizzles out, it doesn't mean that they weren't a karmic connection from a past life. It means that you guys had unfinished business, and that you're continuing that business and the learning and growth experiences in this lifetime. So some new thing that you're starting, it's new and it's fresh and it feels really sparkly and, really, really exciting, but it does have deep underneath it something weightier with the Hermit and with the world. Okay. Okay, let's take a look at your clarifications. Tell us about the King of Swords, please. Thank you. Oh my God, the star. Yeah, really trust yourself. I love this so much. The star and the freaking King of Swords. Trust yourself because you are like mentally healed. You are really like divining. This is like the alien superstar magical person, okay? Woman made of stardust. She is the stars. And then when the stars sprinkle down, they form the human star girl, okay? Alien star girl here. So you are mentally healed. You are thinking clearly. You are strong and creative or strategic. You've got it. You've got a really strong connection to the divine. Trust it. This is like you have an ability to know things without allowing your emotions to override that divine knowing. The human emotions, okay, we've got these meat suits, you know, there's hormones, there's environmental factors, there's, you know, there's so many things that change our physical constitution. This is why, see, I'm a more of a skincare girl than like a makeup girl. And part of why I'm so passionate about skincare is because like all of those different products, you need to have like revolving products because it's not even just that your skin gets used to one thing over and over, but your skin changes like moment to moment because of these hormones, because of the environmental effects, because of how you're physically feeling, because of what you are eating and drinking and smoking and in what quantities you are eating, drinking, and smoking. Like all of that stuff changes your skin. So you're going to need different things. And it's an exciting little, I just like it. So it's like you're able to know what's going on with your skin and just give it what it needs and not freak out that you've got to change your drying lotion or start to move over to a chemical exfoliant from a, you know what I'm saying? It's like you're able to just do it, like listen to your skin, give it what it needs, and know that change is the only constant. You just keep it moving. That was such a weird analogy. Okay. So, oh, and I have to take it because we have him here. Mr. King of Wands. Okay, so not only are you like totally in divine connection, but you and this other person are on the same page. On the same page. You and this King of Wands. So at least there's one other person that's got your back. They're on the same like wavelength. And I feel like this is a strong actor in terms of someone that takes action. Like they'll do things. They don't just talk about it, they do it. They're a doer. All right, let's take a look at the entitled Missy girl over here and some kind of that can be some kind of like maybe your daughter is fighting with her mother and everyone's got to just look out of the way and God forbid you have to take a side or something and um or your sister's fighting with mom or like it could be some crazy thing like that. In that case you would have maybe teenage daughter is spitting the truth, is that Queen of Swords like spitting truth all over the place, but that mother is the empress saying like I don't care, this is what I want, is what I say, I don't care, and it's like clashing. Tell us about that. Ooh, ooh, got it. Sorry to say it. Sorry to say it. Daddy's home and he comes home and he has to side with the mom. That's fucked up. I'm just kidding. It's not. It's not. It's expected. It's kind of just like the status quo. So like these are the counterparts here. These are the count. This is like someone may be in a position to side with that person, the entitled person. like the decision maker siding with that entitled person is looking like what it is. Doesn't make them right. It doesn't make this pair right by any stretch of the imagination if you are the Queen of Swords. And honestly, Queen of Swords is kind of out of their element now that the Emperor is here. They're right. Like the Queen of Swords looks like they're right. Like they've got the sharpness, but and these are things that it all comes down to choice. So fate brings you opportunities in life, but you making the choices to choose if you take those opportunities or let them pass, that is you creating your destiny. So don't think in terms of, if you feel like something is meant for you, or a person or a relationship or a future is meant for you, it's because you're choosing to make it mean something to you, that it is for you because of the meaning that it has to you. But you'll feel like it's meant in terms of like universal meant for you. But it's a decision. We all have, it's all of our choices. So if you feel like something's meant for you, then you were meant to say yes to it. And with the Emperor showing up, this is like me going to my dad and saying, oh my God, I have 5 emergency root canals that I need. I need to get these root canals done. I cannot afford this. Please, please help me. Please pay for this. But his wife says no. So no expensive root canals for Natalie. That was like 2018. But I mean, it's like that. It's basically like that. And like I said, honestly, Queen of Swords is not in where she's not in a place where she's going to be listened to or appreciated. So I'd be careful if that's your teenager and they're close to like 18 or something, because there's other people that they're going to go to, or that accept them, that are maybe more forward thinking or maybe just smarter. Like they might just have like more mental, they might have more brain cells or something. They would be a better, like these two masculine energies over here are way more going to be more welcome and receptive to like this person. So there's that. Let's move on. What's this Hanged Man and the Magician? Ooh, thank you. Holy moly. You have the 9 of Wands, a lot of Wands, 9 of Wands, the 3 of Wands, the 8 of Wands, and the Lovers. So someone in this situation, possibly a very talented person, or skilled person, very, very skilled, or able, like a very able person, whatever they haven't been able to do, it has to do with partnership. Maybe they have been like undecided about a person, or it looks more entrepreneurial, like business. And it could be that they've either been blocked by their own indecision, or they've been blocked by outside circumstances. Whatever it is, it gets like lifted or let up this week. This could even have to do with borders and like physically being able to access somebody else. So whether that has to do with some kind of relocation, or possibly some travel issues, or even restrictions with foreign policy and that kind of thing. Okay, let's take a look at this King of Wands, please. Thank you. The 4 of Wands, interesting. Yeah, definitely. Some people are definitely changing living situations, relocations, base of operations. Even if you like work from home, you can turn your home into put it the factory. You can, you can turn your home into the hub of, kind of like in Midnight in Paris, how Kathy Bates's house was just like this really cool place for like the greatest artists of the century to just like kind of come through and be cool, and everybody would, like it could even be something like a renaissance, some kind of renaissance for your home, where maybe I was actually this is not related, but I was thinking of hosting meetups for telekinesis, but I I don't know why it hadn't occurred to me until then, but I realized that there must be so few people on planet Earth that can do it, that can, like physically do it, like on command, repeatedly. You know what I'm saying? So it's probably not smart of me to open up like a meetup. So, but anyway, you might do something like in your own, this King of Wands, someone's doing something with like changing of the home, and it might even be it might have something to do with this person, like this counterpart over here, bringing them in. But that's another thing. Like if you brought someone, let's just say that you are you're renting your spare room to a friend, or a friend's, I don't know, your niece, or a friend's child or something. Even if there's something like that, or you Airbnb it, or you Verbo it, or something, and then you get like a long-term person, they might be new and fresh and sparkly. They might be this like new project. They might be this new relationship or new person. But number one, they may be a foreigner, or they may just be coming from far away. But there will be something underneath that is familiar. You might feel comfortable and safe with them, just sort of immediately. This is not that familiar, like hot and spicy love relationship and you're working out karma familiar. This is like serious. This is serious, stable, wise. You might be able to learn something from someone. They might be younger than you. There could be just, it's peaceful though, and it looks like someone really agrees with it too. Someone else, this other couple or something. So you really might be putting together some kind of like home-based business, or something with the people. Maybe you're organizing some kind of grassroots thing and you're getting like your people situated, and maybe there's like this old couple that like won't change, and you want them to be part of your community. Maybe you're starting like a commune or something, but they're just like not really getting along with like the smartest person in your commune. So then you're like, okay, thank you for applying. We don't need your patronage. You can be part of a different commune, a commune that's different. You know what I'm saying? So it could be something like that. But it's like, it's interesting because you have like one curmudgeonly sort of couple, like with the entitled person, and then you've got like these two other couples, or maybe just two sides of one couple. I'm not there when there's a lot of people in a tarot reading, it does kind of overwhelm me energetically. And my most successful reading though, I had a client where she needed me to look at like 10 coworkers. This was a whole big thing. And so it was a project. It was a little mini project for me, but I did it. And it was about just a couple of months, like maybe 2.5 months. I heard back from her. I was right about every single person on the list, every single one. So I can do it, but if you you have to tell me beforehand. It has to be like a whole thing. So that being said, two more couples outside of this one, or two sides of one couple, the action taking side of one couple and the mentality, strategy, communication side of one couple. Might be one couple, might be two. Last but not least, let's take a look at this over here. This is like a new start, but like really tweaking out about it, really like kind of I wonder if this is like a nervous happiness about some new thing that you're starting with this person, with another person, with a partner, or something like that. You have nothing to worry about. It's the happiest thing you could have done for your life. And it's this risk. It is taking a bit of a leap of faith. And you know what? This is interesting. This is almost like that you fear that, not that it's not going to happen, or it's not like you fear the worst. It's almost like you fear that they're going to say no to something or about something. That's what it's really looking more like. It's like you shoot your shot and they say no. You shoot your shot and they reject you. And I'm not getting that. I'm getting a yes answer, like overwhelming yes. The only one saying no is the Empress. So that's not even part of this thing for you. So yeah, looks like it's great. I'm really happy. All right, last but not least, let's get your guidance for this week ahead. Anything else that these people need to know? Oh, thank you. Bottom of the deck, a new start is coming. Yes, it is. And it's time to take action. This is it. This is the week. Probably, I mean, looking at the astrology, you know, we're not even going to go there. It's time to take action. You already know this. And a new start is coming. Something else that you already know. All right. There's your confirmations, my lovelies. Take very, very good care. If you love the tarot over here, I live stream 6 days out of the week for all 12 zodiacal signs for their weeklies over on the Patreon. That is the lowest tier for $11.11 every month. If you like the astrology mixed in with the tarot, I do that through all 12 zodiac signs every single month, and I make special Patreon exclusive only guides for your month ahead. June happened to have the Venus retrograde guide, so make sure it's so very worth it to go get that. And for those of you that are interested in doing this yourself, remote viewing, channeling, telekinesis, what else do we like to do? Astral travel, astral projection, lucid dreaming, that's reserved for the very highest tier over on Patreon, where I coach you week to week on live Zoom sessions. You get all kinds of great perks and classes and sub clubs associated with that, but that is only reserved when you're ready to do it. When you're really ready to do it, okay? And then we have tiers in between that give you varied levels of access to our sub clubs. I love you guys so very much. Take good care, and I will see you guys next time very soon. Until then, my lovelies, many beautiful blessings upon all of your beautiful stars.